Hi everybody, it's Anne, the Purple Goddess. I'm here doing my weekly sharing of a tarot card with you. The tarot is an ancient system of symbolic language. There are 78 cards in a tarot deck and each one tells a story. And I'm happy to be here with you today to see what story we can uncover from a particular card. So without further ado, let's take a look at the card today. Now this card is number 7 in what's called the Major Arcana. So it's early on in the journey of life and in the journey of life lessons. And it is a card associated with the sign of Cancer. So maybe you knew this, maybe you didn't, but some of the cards in the tarot are related to different astrological signs. So, for example, the Death card is connected to Scorpio. And Scorpio is about death and rebirth, the phoenix rising from the ashes. The Sun card in the tarot is associated with a Leo. And it's all about the sun. And people sometimes who are Leos, they just have this big, beautiful, sunny personality. So the card today is the Chariot. And it's number 7, and it's associated with the sign of Cancer. So, what an interesting synchronicity that I would pull this card in Cancer season, which we're now in. So here's a shout out to all you wonderful people born under the sign of Cancer. Cancer is a cardinal sign, and it means I'm a Cancer. And Cancer people, we are able to see the big picture, and we're not afraid to take on big ideas and big projects, and we're leaders. So this is a card of a person in a chariot, and they're ready to go. So where in your life right now are you ready to go? So while you're thinking about that, let's take a look at some of the symbols on this card. So we've got somebody that's kind of got their armor on, they're leaving town, the city's behind them, and they're wearing some interesting things on their lapels. These are like two theatrical faces. It's hard to kind of see. And also a crescent moon. So the crescent moons are about new beginnings. And these kind of faces that sit on top of the crescent moon are about the theater of one's life. And this person has known joys and sorrows even early on in their tarot journey. And they're wearing them as sort of signs of initiation. And there's kind of a little square right in the middle of the breastplate of the armor. And that's also a sign that this person has gone through some initiations. And they're now in their power. And they're in their power so much they're holding this kind of like staff. They've got a hold of something. So we go through a lot of initiations in life where we claim our power, don't we? And I want to tell a little story about when I was about 7 or 8 years old. I was being bullied on my way home from public school. Every time I'd come home, on my street would be a woman, a young girl who was probably 12 or 13 when I look back, and she would bully me or taunt me before I could get to my house. And this went on for the longest time, and it was just terrible. I hated to walk home from school. And so one day I figured out, I can go down another street and bypass her so I don't have to deal with her. And so that was a very interesting kind of initiation. I figured out as a young child, there's a problem, here's a solution to that problem. And that worked until one day I was in a hurry and I had to get home and I'd forgotten about the bully. And I came down my street and sure enough, there she was. And I don't know what got into me, but at some point I was in my power. I was in my chariot and I decided, this is enough. And so as I came close to her, I just took my hand and hit her in the nose really hard. And she had blood squirting all out of her nose. And she said, "You are really in trouble now. I'm going to tell your parents. You're just going to be terribly punished in your family because look what you've done to my nose." The good news about this story is that my parents did not give me a hard time. They understood that that was not a strategy that I should maybe be employing in the future. But they were proud of me for standing up to a bully. So where in your life have you kind of claimed your power and just said, no, I'm not going to do this anymore? Because that's a little bit about what this card is all about. And not only is the Chariot in their power, but they're also surrounded by like this canopy of stars. And they're wearing a wreath, a laurel wreath of victory with a star on top. So I was the victor in my little bully story, you know? And from that moment on, that bully never bothered me again. And so when we are initiated into our power, we can kind of really move forward with a card like this. Now, there are other fascinating symbols on this card. This card has got wings, and this is like the snitch in the story of Harry Potter. But it also represents, as does the snitch in a way, the spirit, the Holy Spirit of life that's giving us wings to fly. And it's about lining up with that spirit of life that's beyond ourselves so that we can spread our wings and get out of town. There's also an interesting kind of toggle here, and this is about masculine and feminine energies, and they're kind of balanced. So this person's got a balance of masculine and feminine energies, and these two beautiful sphinxes here. The sphinx is like ancient Egyptian sign of mystery. So this person's in their chariot. They've gone through some initiations. They're claiming their power. They're balanced in their masculine and feminine. They want to go forward, but they're not quite sure what the future holds. The future always holds a little bit of mystery for us, but we have to trust that this ancient wisdom is going to be before us. And if we can move in our chariot, everything's going to be just fine. So this is really an amazing card, and it's about leaving the old behind. You know, as a child, I could have just been bullied every day and not figured out how to find another way home, not figured out how to protect myself, fight for myself. So where are you right now, needing to leave town and get on a path that's going to serve you really well because you're ready to take the next step? So claim your authority. You've got knowledge from your experiences, and you've got the drive now with the Chariot card to go forward and to claim your power and authority and to be on your path and just continue to kind of develop and blossom to be the person that Source and Spirit have invited you to be. So thank you for this time. I just love sharing these tarot cards and their teaching with you. And so get in your chariot and take off. Till we meet again. Bye for now.